Good morning, my wonderful people. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday. Last night's Smackdown. Whew. We're gonna be nice. Say it had a couple of key moments, but this 3-hour thing has just gotten ridiculous, guys. I wrote some notes down. I may go a little bit longer than my normal time today, but I just wanted to kind of go over how the night went. And the 3-hour thing is just this is just I want us really just one time be able to come on here and be like, hey, what a great show. And I have done that before, but it's just, man, it's few and far between, man. It's really few and far between. Anyway, SmackDown, February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2025. Oh, it's a long 3-hour drag. There was a couple of key moments in this show. There was. And we're going to go over those, but I mean, getting there. Gee whiz. All right, so the show started out with Cody coming out. Of course, that takes 15 minutes for him to get in the ring and do his thing, and he starts coming. He did this guy, Cody Rhodes, cannot cut a promo to save his life. He pretty much just comes out and explains that, who will win the Elimination Chamber and who will he take on. And he starts listing all the guys that are so far qualified for it. And, of course, then Drew comes out. Drew McIntyre walks out to the ring, and he's going over. He pretty much tells Cody, you left me out. Cody's like, oh, okay, I'll do it again. I mean, this whole thing was just whatever. Not impressed by any of this. And then, of course, Fatu would eventually come out, which the crowd reaction with Fatu was the talk of this entire segment. The crowd loves Fatu, and rightfully so. Fatu is amazing. So I'm really happy with that. I say what I say about the crowd. I often don't agree with them. I think the WWE universe is a little off, but I was always against them anyway from the very beginning. I've never saw eye to eye with the fan base of WWE. I've always gone the other way with it. But anyway, Solo, they're out there cutting their thing, and then of course they show the screen, and Solo is pulling in, getting out of the car, and making his way into the building. And Cody sees this, and he kind of walks towards the edge of the ring, and Solo puts his arm out and stops him, like, what are you doing? This is family business, and then we got to go take care of this. And Cody makes the comment that he'll get the last say, blah, 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 blah. Cody Rhodes being Cody Rhodes. So that would leave with Tama was out there with Solo. Forgot to mention that. And they would definitely leave the ring together and headed towards Solo, and with the purpose. So here we go with that. I'm listening. I'm watching. You guys know I love the Bloodline storyline, so let's see what happens there. They go right into Trish Stratus. They showed Trish sitting on the ringside. They noted that the Elimination Chamber is in her hometown. And then they kind of just left it at that. But I guess they want us to be thinking about that. It's in Toronto, so we'll see. And then they Naomi versus Chelsea Green for their qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber was next. Surprise, surprise, Naomi wins. My thoughts on that process. This is the second night in a row a mid-card women's championship, which they just created, has lost. Lara lost Monday in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. The Intercontinental Champion. Then last night, Chelsea Green loses to Naomi. Now, I knew going in that was going to be the case, but I just feel like if you're trying to push these titles that are brand new, it's not a good way to start. I mean, they're not going anywhere. These titles will be around forever, but it's not a good start to these titles at all. That's why, again, I feel like whoever's in charge doesn't know what they're doing. I'm going to keep saying that. It's like they just started working here. and they'd never done this before. And I know that's not the case, and that's what drives me crazy. Anyway, so we'll just skip on past that, because who cares? Sami Zayn does a segment, which looks to be from his couch. I wrote, who cares? I don't care about this. He's pretty much saying that Kevin tried to end his career. He doesn't know why. They were friends. Blah, 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 blah. And then right after that, Kevin does a segment from his car again. His face looks healed all of a sudden. I didn't see any scars, but the quality of these videos are awful. Anyway, it's like they were cut in the back early 2000s. I don't understand. Anyway, so that happened. Kevin's segment, he pretty much tells Sami to come find him there in Elimination Chamber. We'll finish this where it all started in Canada, whatever. So apparently there may be something, and I don't know if there'll be a match at Elimination Chamber between the two, but I do think that there will definitely be some sort of engagement between Sami and Kevin at Elimination Chamber. That's what they're hitting at anyway. So we'll see what happens there. Then we've got another, here comes the snooze fest of the night. Motor City Machine Bums versus Los Garza. Los Garza, this whole thing, the tag team division is so awful right now. Unreal. Neither one of these two tag teams are bad, but they're not good either. They're just not. This was a snooze fest. I'm not even going to go. I'm just going to skip over it. I mean, they fought. Who cares? I didn't even wrote down who won. I'm sure it was probably the Machine Guns, but who cares? The next one was, the next segment was a Jacob Fatu versus, Jacob Fatu eventually runs into Solo in the back. Solo speaks. He tells Jacob that he let the family down and he needed some time. And now he's back, and that Jacob will make things better by getting in the Elimination Chamber, by winning the night and bringing the belt back to the family. I said what I said. That's what he said. And that was interesting. That was interesting because that didn't make any sense in terms of what Solo. It was odd to me. It was very sus, and then it gets even better because after that, he grabs Jacob's arm and says, "Hey, I love you, Jacob." And Jacob pretty much just walks away from him, and I'm like, "Whoa, what are we doing here?" Because it was always, I love you, Solo. And now it's Solo grabbing him by the arm saying, I love you, Jacob. And Jacob just pretty much just walks away. So you left with that and you're thinking, where is this going? You have my attention, WWE. I'm paying attention. This is the Bloodline storyline. I'm all in. I want to see more of this. Let's go. I'm paying attention. Next one would be Shinsuke versus, or he comes out, the U.S. champion. This guy, it was so bad that the crowd is literally whatting him. I don't know this guy. I don't like this guy. I don't know who he is. My son, who was here with me yesterday on the show with me, doing the video with me, like, he likes him. He says he's good. I have yet to see anything that impresses me with this dude. I'm just not impressed. I'm not at all. LA Knight would eventually come out. He cuts his promo, actually lights up the place. LA Knight doing what LA Knight does. You guys know I like LA Knight. I think he's one of my favorite. But, I mean, he come out, did his thing, and eventually Miz would come out. And Shinsuke kind of leaves the room, or leaves the ring, and then it's just a LA Knight Miz segment, which is which was good because they really fed off each other, and that was a good promo. That was probably one of the highlights of the night, honestly, in my opinion. I felt like that was pretty good, and then of course the commissioner would come out and go ahead and say, "Hey, let's make this a number one contenders match." Oh, and by the way, it starts right now. So they're fighting, and of course LA Knight wins. Which kind of confuses me because I don't really know where Miz stands in all this and why he was in this to begin with, unless they're going to make that a thing in the future, like moving forward. Are we going to put Miz in the U.S. title, mix? Is that going to happen? I don't know. I'd kind of like to see that. I'd kind of like to see more, but there's been rumors that LA Knight is going to be having a feud with Drew McIntyre soon, and I'll be honest with you, I'd rather see that, especially because I know Drew McIntyre doesn't win big matches. He just doesn't. He's good, and he deserves it, and he should be winning more, and he should have a title. But WWE didn't see it that way. He's kind of like their do boy. He puts people over. That's what he gets paid to do. Put people over. Lose important matches. So if that's the case, give me LA Knight against Drew McIntyre, because that, I think, would elevate LA Knight even more so than he already is. I would rather have that. But if they're gonna have him against Shinsuke, and they're gonna have him come back and do his and get his title back, his U.S. title back, then cool. I'm all right with that too. But honestly, if I had to pick between the two, I'm taking Drew McIntyre feud, and I hope that's the future. I really hope that's the WrestleMania match, honestly. I'd like to see LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. I think that would be a decent match for WrestleMania. And then, let's see, you had Nia versus Alexa Bliss. Well, I'm sorry, you had a Nia, Candice, and Alexa Bliss segment in the back. And the only thing I'm going to bring up here is the Wyatt Six glitch, because that's something to watch. That's all I wanted to say about that segment. Carmelo Hayes and Miz are in the back. Carmelo leaves Miz hanging. Again, I'm not going to get into that. I thought that was funny. It's the only reason I wrote it down. Carmelo versus R-Truth would be the next match. I'm just going to spend 2 seconds talking about this real quick. They are ruining Carmelo Hayes. He is an uber talented guy in the ring. He's got crowd heat. He knows how to work it. The guy is decent, man. And they are doing him so bad. I mean, he gets no love at all. None. The best part, y'all know how much I love LA Knight. And the best part of LA Knight's U.S. title run was Carmelo Hayes battling for it. Battling for number one contendership against Andrade. They had that best out of 7. That was the best part of LA Knight's title run. LA Knight had nothing to do with this title run. It was all about that number one contendership between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is awesome. And he's not getting anything. It's just aggravating, man. They've got talent and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to develop talent, and they don't know what to do with the talent they have. Tiffany versus Nia. This was a title match. I'm going to tell you right now, Nia beat the brakes off Tiffany. Just about this entire match, Tiffany just got beat up. I mean, she had a botch or two, too. But, like, she just got beat up. This entire match was just like, I don't get it. And we all knew Tiffany was going to win in the end, and she did. But she still even got beat up after. Like, I mean, it was a disqualification. Candice got involved, which I still don't understand. Why would Candice do that? Anyway, I didn't get that at all. That was stupid. And then, God, whoever's writing these stories is just, I don't understand what drugs are on, or if they're. I don't understand if they aren't on drugs. They need to get on drugs. They need to do something. I don't know if they figure it out. Let somebody else do some writing, because this is just awful. But they did that. Tiffany's laying on the mat. Charlotte Flair walks out, opens up a chair, sits down, and pretty much tells Tiffany that she's picking her for WrestleMania. That Charlotte's coming after her belt at WrestleMania. So now we're going to get a Charlotte versus Tiffany. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not. This is the one I didn't want. I'd rather have Charlotte go after Rhea. But I kind of figured they were going to do this because they're not going to want to pull the belt off Rhea. Rhea doesn't fight anyway. As little as Tiffany fights, Rhea's nowhere to be found ever. I mean, she's talking like Batman in the ring and doing nothing. She's never there. She's never there. So I kind of figured they'd go Tiffany here, and they did. I'm not surprised. But that's it for that. Then the next segment that came up was Jade Cargill. They did the video. He showed a video of Commish showed a video. Said he's got us. I love the freaking thing on this dude because he's sitting there with a remote and it's like not working. I thought it was hilarious. And then, but they finally got the video to play, and all it really is showing the ambulance or whatever. And over to the side, you see Liv and Raquel walking back into the building. Right? Well, how does that show that they did it? But apparently that's what they're trying to hint here, that they did it. He has video footage of them going and doing it. You don't have video footage of nothing. This video was pointless. They're going to push this and make it look like they did it. There's no video footage of them doing anything. It's all walking back in the building. Like, this doesn't prove that they did it. So they're going to push this and whatever. I don't really care. But I thought I'd bring it up. It's so dumb. Where is Jade Cargill anyway? There's another AEW star that came over here thinking they were going to do something, and WWE. This is what WWE does do. They take these AEW people and they put them in a box, right? And they put them on the shelf, and they keep them so they won't run back to AEW and become superstars and mess them up. It's a strategy. It's a strategy. It's what they do. So backstage, Trish Stratus and Tiff run into each other, and they decide Trish is actually pushing this with Tiffany about doing a match together in Toronto at the Elimination Chamber, in Trish's hometown, and blah blah. Who cares? Main event. You had the triple threat match between Braun Strowman, Fatu, and Damian Priest for the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. I did notice that during one of the entrances, I think it was Priest's entrance, they mentioned it was a no DQ, which I thought was weird because I was like, they hadn't said that. But it's funny that they mentioned that. No DQ while the entrances were happening. The match was going on, and it was pretty decent. It wasn't an awful match, but it was actually pretty decent. When you got these three guys in it, you should have a decent match. All three of these guys are worthy of being main eventers. Braun Strowman gets a bad rap. He gets jobbed a lot, but all three of these dudes, man, because Braun, let's be honest, man, if all three of these dudes were like really fighting, like real for real, Braun Strowman would beat the hell out of both of them. But it is what it is. I think this was a pretty decent match. And then, of course, towards the end, Solo would come out. He does a spike on Strowman, so that completely knocks him out. Of course, you're going to need that. It's the only way Strowman would have been eliminated anyway out of this. Of course, right after that, Cody comes out. Solo would accidentally take Tama out. And Jacob confronts him because Jacob's watching what's going on. And this ultimately looks like Damian Priest won the match. So let's just go ahead and get that out the way real quick. But let's talk about this for a minute because I honestly feel like they are setting up a Jacob versus Solo feud coming. And I don't know now we know this Jacob's not going to be in the Elimination Chamber. So that leaves him open for Elimination Chamber. So what will happen between now and Chamber, which is only a couple weeks away, maybe they do a Jacob Solo Elimination Chamber. Maybe they do a Jacob Solo WrestleMania. All I'm getting at here is this is Bloodline. This is Bloodline storyline. This is why I came here. This is what I like. Let's do more of this. This has my attention. So now there's only one spot left in the Elimination Chamber, and we've got Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor Monday night to decide that, and then we'll have all of our guys in. Last night's key factors were, there's basically just three that I felt like were of importance, right? One of them is questionable, but there three. I'll give it three. The first one being Charlotte Flair making her choice for Tiffany, because that's the thing. That's a championship match. And then Solo and Jacob, that feud moving forward, that's going to be a thing. Now, and I feel like next week's going to be a big deal with that. I feel like they're going to have a conversation again. And I'm excited about that. And then the Jay Cargill outcome, like I said, but I'll put it in look, those are three big things that happened tonight that moving forward will impact things, right? Those are answers to what's coming up in the future. I talk a lot about WWE doesn't do enough to make me watch next week, right? And they didn't do that last night either. But at least I know going forward, now there's a Jacob Solo thing to be paying attention to. Wasn't getting that before. So at least now we have that and something to look forward to going in the chamber. So SmackDown was I don't want to call it a sleeper. I don't want to call it a snoozer. I don't want to call it, trash, but it was okay, I guess. I was telling my son as it was happening, it's got moments that hit, just not enough. And I remember looking down on my phone at 8:53, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm going to make it to 10 o'clock. And I didn't. I actually laid down, during the main event and just watched it from my bed. But I was passing out. This 3 hours crap I almost said Nitro. This 3 hour SmackDown is awful. And they got to go back to 2 hours. I know it's going to be a while before I think that can happen. But, I mean, what are we going to do? This is just awful. They've got to do things differently. They have to. And we're in WrestleMania season. I'm going to keep saying that. Like, it's supposed to be exciting. What the heck was exciting on last night's show? If I'm missing some excitement, come on. I don't think I've had a single comment on any of my videos about how something is exciting on this show. Or on Raw. Anything in WWE that's exciting, tell me. I'm dying to know. I am intrigued about this future Solo Jacob thing. Where will Roman sit in that? Where will Jimmy sit in that? Curious to know that. Or will they even be involved at all? This is the Great Value bloodline breaking apart. So will the OG bloodline have anything to do with them falling apart? We'll see. Will Solo run back to Roman? Which I inevitably think will happen. That's my prediction. Give me your predictions down below, man. Tell me right in the comments. Like, what do you think is going to happen with the Bloodline storyline? What do y'all think? I don't care about any other storyline. I really don't. Let's talk Bloodline. Give me what you think is going to happen with the Bloodline storyline with this whole Solo, Jacob, Tama. What's Jimmy doing? What do you think Roman's going to do? What do you think? I don't think Jay will have anything to do with any of this, to be honest. But if y'all think he'll have an opinion on something or ride with one person, write it down below. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate y'all watching today. I went so long, and I hope y'all stayed through the whole time. Drop a BFT on that subscribe button. Love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Y'all have a good one.